In this particular lesson, we're going to be finding the domain of a rational function. They want us to use interval notation. So one of the things I wanted to point out was that if you use parentheses, then you're not including the point that's next to the parentheses. And if you use brackets, then you are including the points that are next to the brackets. These are called ditto marks. And it just means read what's above it. Okay, so when we're looking for domain, basically we can use any x except for the x's that make the function undefined or unable to work. So in this case, for f of x, we take our denominator, and it cannot equal 0. Any fraction that has 0 as a denominator will be undefined. So we solve for x by adding 7 to both sides. So x cannot be equal to 7. So when we write our domain, we're going to put parentheses because we want to include all the negative numbers and we do not want to include 7. And then we're going to have a union with all the numbers from 7 to infinity. So the union means just both of these intervals will be allowed for a function f. So we're going to go ahead and do this one, and we'll put in, let's see, we'll have negative infinity, and then we'll have a 7. Come to the outside, we'll do union, we'll do that one again, and we'll type 7 and then positive infinity. For the second function, we're going to have to factor x squared plus 15x plus 54. So I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to get 54, but add to get 15, and that is 9 and 6. And they're both positive, plus 9 plus 6. So x cannot equal negative 9 or negative 6. So we're going to have 3 intervals that we're going to want to put together. So we'll go from negative infinity to negative 9. And then we will go from negative 9 to negative 6. And then we'll go from negative 6 to positive infinity. So any numbers other than negative 9 and negative 6 will work in our domain. So we're going to try one more here, just so you can kind of see it again. For the first function, f of x, we're going to have to factor x squared plus 9, which doesn't factor. So we'll just go ahead and do x squared cannot equal negative 9. And guess what? There's no number that you can square except for imaginary numbers that will give you a negative 9. So all numbers will work. So we can just go from negative infinity to infinity. And then we'll go to our function g of x. And when we factor x squared minus 25, we'll get x minus 5, x plus 5. So this is the difference of two squares, and the middle term will cancel out. So x cannot equal positive or negative 5. So we're going to have 3 intervals that we're going to want to include in our domain. So we'll have negative infinity to negative 5. And then we'll have from negative 5 to 5. And then we'll have 5 to infinity. So one thing to keep in mind is our infinities will always have a parentheses next to them. So we'll always use parentheses with our infinities because infinity is a concept, not a number. Okay, that's the end of our lesson.